Next up on the Cosmic News Network, First Contact with Joshua Putt.
Good morning, Earthlings. How you doing today? Welcome back to First Contact Radio. Glad you could be here. Today is the 4th of August, 2016. Our sun sign is in Leo. Our moon sign is in Virgo. Virgo is tarot card hermit. The grayness because he's not to the side of being on one side or the other. He's in the middle of balance. So you've got two extremes, but the hermit walks the middle path. The hermit is the color gray because it's neutral. It's between the black and the white. The hermit holds the lantern up high for others to see, shining that light of information for others. So the hermit is very important. Teaches the lesson of patience and timing. Patience and timing, that's what we need to understand today. So keep that in mind as our unconscious desire is being expressed through the creativity of Leo, the lion. Okay, the lion that we need to tame so we make that energy more usable. All right, so let's take a look at some of these aspects we're dealing with here. We could see that we went into Virgo at 2:34 in the morning. Then shortly after that, Virgo was in a square with Mars. Lesson, energy, maybe restlessness. I was pretty restless last night, sleeping-wise. Kept waking up, tossing and turning. I don't know if you had the same, but it was very restless, and that's kind of a restlessness right there. 4:44 p.m., we're going to have a conjunction between Mercury and Virgo. So the two of them are together in the same house, having a conversation. Mercury, the messenger, the communicator. Virgo wants to teach the lessons of patience and timing to help the messenger understand those important lessons when it comes to communicating. Okay, we don't have to do everything at once. Sometimes we have to be patient and understand the right timing for doing the things we need to do. All right, and then at 9:02 p.m. 9:02 p.m. we have a square between Saturn and Virgo. So Saturn now wants to get in there and teach us some lessons. Wants us to be disciplined, focused. So by the end of the day, we're going to start really looking at focusing all of this energy, focusing this patience, focusing, disciplining, coming to understand a little better that which we have to offer the world, to bring to the world. Because the Virgo, the hermit, is also a teacher. So we need to look at what that is that we are sharing, teaching ourselves, others, and so on. And finally, just shy of midnight, 11:57 p.m., we have an opposition between Virgo and Neptune. Neptune telling us we want to look at things in another perspective. Okay? Want to flip upside down and look at things a different way. See if looking at things, if we see them any differently than we presently do. Moon phase is 3.4% of the way there, making its way up to the full moon, which will be on the 18th. Thursday, the 4th, is 29th of Tammuz on the Jewish calendar. It's the last day of the month tomorrow. You could see it changes to a new month. And the daily thought for today is the only child. Why do parents love their children? Because the lower world reflects the higher world, and above there is a parent and he loves his children. Why do parents of an only child have such unbounded love for their child? Because this is the truest reflection of the world above. Above each one of us is an only child, and his love to us is unbounded. All right, very nice. And then finally, solar wind, 640.3 kilometers per second. Planetary K index, it's in the 3 range. Moving to the 4, we could see that there's something really strange going on with the sun here. They're saying this is from the moon. Let's see. It says what happened to the SDO. It's in a geosynchronous orbit above the Earth. Occasionally, however, the moon gets in the way. So what they're saying is this is the moon, or is it? That is the question. Could be something else. Might be something else, but they're telling us it's the moon. So should we believe them? I don't know. I don't know. And here's Spock above the flat Earth again. M-class flare possibility is at 1%. X-class at 1%. Geomagnetic storm activity is 30%, hanging in there in the mid-latitudes, upper latitudes. It's also pretty stable, over the next 24 to 48 hours. Okay? And when you look at this, look, I want you to understand this. When you're looking at this, it's not like you're looking directly at the Earth and you're actually seeing the curve of the Earth. The Earth isn't this small here, okay? What you're seeing here is the edge of your periphery on a disk. Like if you were looking at a coin and then you raised up above it and you're still looking at that coin, but as you're looking down from a certain angle, you start to see the edge of the coin. Well, that's what you're seeing here, okay? You got a flat plane, he's risen above it, and you're able to see out to the periphery. This certainly isn't the edge because the Earth is much larger than this, definitely much larger than this. You can only go so high in one of these kind of balloons to really be able to see that. So there you have it. Just thought I'd point that out. If you don't believe it, that's okay. I do, and that's all that matters to me. All right, UFO news is up next. Let's do it.
This is the UFO News with Joshua Poet.
All right, Dirk, thank you very much. Today, I've got 3 good stories. The first one is in Cleveland. Huge UFO over Cleveland Lake Erie awaits humans to respond. All right, what we have here is UFO after making a presentation flight exhibiting from all angles, parked waiting for the human response. UFO was discovered over Cleveland yesterday on a live cam by Orlando Bosca of YouTube. UFO has a tail area and seems to have slight wings on the edges, but it's difficult to say since the focus of the cam is a bit blurry. This is not a blimp. This doesn't have the normal upper and lower back tails that blimps usually have. Also, this object doesn't have 3 tail wings that the Goodyear blimp has. This UFO is thinner and longer than the Goodyear blimp. Also, the front section is much thinner and seems to have a separate section on the bottom. Quite remarkable catch. All right, quite an interesting object right there. This is over Cleveland, above Lake Erie. All right, so it's just all still stuff right here. There we go, right there. Okay. Very good, very good. Kind of looks like a big shark in the sky from here, doesn't it? Maybe Sharknado? Alright, moving on. UFOs streaking towards the ground around Nellis Air Force Base, Spring Mountain, Area 51. In a UFO hotspot, Nellis Air Force Base, UFO researcher Steve Barone keeps on monitoring the alleged UFO traffic above the area from the backyard of his home in Summerlin, Las Vegas. UFO bloggers, meanwhile, have claimed that Barone's series of videos uploaded to YouTube show UFO spacecraft from a secret community of tall whites, which the USO government allegedly hosted at Nellis Air Force Area 51. The latest footage from Barone, captured on July 28th from his backyard, shows a strange object streaking towards the ground. The video also featured footage from his November capture last year, showing 3 mysterious orbs going down into the nearby Spring Mountains. According to Barone, he looked over the UFOs at night for the 28th Thursday in a stormy city of Las Vegas. Despite the adverse weather conditions, he still decided to record some of the UFOs as usual. He used his night vision camera to handle a little wind. Okay, and however, they ended up witnessing nothing. Then he decided to focus his night vision camera towards the nearby Spring Mountain because of a previous amazing footage he got over the mountains on November 12th last year. involving mysterious bright light. He said that the UFO actually took place just after waiting for a short period. There it is right there, streaking towards the ground. Barone's July 20th video shows a bright UFO, or some call it alien light ship, in the direction of Area 51 that streaks down and disappears. All right, very interesting, very interesting. And one more UFO related story for today. And this has to do with NASA. Look at this. NASA says no more live feed from the ISS to hide UFOs for the public. Okay, so looks like NASA has seen enough from us down here on Earth. They've decided to end the live feed from the ISS, the International Space Station. Many people monitor that feed and post videos that they or photos they have found. Again, this live feed is another example of why NASA is not to be trusted in telling the truth. There is no reason out there. So, NASA is no longer going to have the feed to the ISS. So just like we're never going to go back to the moon, now we're not going to see the ISS. Why is all of this? It's because they're lying to you. So after a period of time, the lie becomes known, and then they want to find a way to get away before the lie becomes known by a larger group of people. Problem with the ISS is people kept seeing things on it. Sometimes they were seeing things like water bubbles. Water bubbles, where did those come from? Could be from the giant pool that NASA uses for their training. This pool that astronauts spend hours and hours and hours in per day training. A pool where they film the training sessions, and then they show it, and they let people see this and tell them that they're out in space. I don't know what's up there in the sky, but I do know there's a lot of trickery that goes on around the ISS, and them closing down so people can't see anything more only does add to the suspicion from NASA. Never a straight answer, or the National Association of Space Actors, whichever one you want, they both seem to apply. And there you go. That's our UFO news for today. I'll be back. We shall continue on. Stay tuned.
What if our government was responsible for some of the greatest crimes against this nation? Would you really want to know? These are big questions, but these questions deserve answers. It's time to demand the truth.
People should not be afraid of their governments. Governments should be afraid of them.
9/11 was an inside job. Kennedy was killed by the CIA. Jimmy Carter saw UFO. Answers to secrets you need to know. So wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up. Wake up, wake up, wake up. Wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up. Wake up, wake up, wake up. up, wake up, wake up, wake up. Wake up, wake up, wake up. Wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up. Wake up, wake up, wake up. Patriots arise. It's time to demand the truth.
All right. Continuing on. So, what we have here is a surprising story. Very surprising story. What? Supreme Court rules against open bathrooms. Huh. Very interesting. Very interesting. Let's see what this has to say. This comes to us from WND, World News Daily, a very good source for news. The U.S. Supreme Court Wednesday hinted some justices might not be willing to follow the transgender bathroom rabbit trail as far as an appeals court did in Virginia case, in which a school board was ordered to allow a female student to use the boys' restroom and other facilities because she claims she identifies as a boy. The court, on a 5-3 vote, suspended that order from the lower court and said it would review the case. The dispute is the Gloucester County, where the school board declined to give the student known as Gavin Grimm permission to use the restroom and facilities of her choice. She contested the decision, and the most recent ruling in the case from the U.S. Fourth Circuit Court was in her favor. That court, however, delayed implementation of its ruling so the school board could appeal, and the Supreme Court maintained the status quo while the case develops. Judge Stephen Breyer, who ordinarily aligns with the court's liberal faction, joined the conservatives in the decision as a courtesy, so the situation is unchanged until the court rules. The battle over the bathroom mandates has erupted into a national issue as Obama administration has tried to force all schools to allow students to pick their gender. Okay, so it's good to see that there's some sanity in the world, right? It's good to see that there has been a moment of sanity here, and that is seeming to make sense. Actually seeming to make sense. Okay, so we'll see how this develops. We shall see how it develops. All right, stories I want to bring up here. You know, I think a lot about what it is I want to talk about on the particular shows, and you know, there's a part of me which just wants to zip past all this political stuff that's happening right now. However, there's another part of me just doesn't feel that I can ignore this, because what's going on really feels like it's important. This doesn't feel like a normal election. The things that are happening do not feel normal. The prophetic events and examples that I have shown you kind of lend itself to understanding that there is something deeper going on here. So I feel really obliged to have to talk about what is going on here in America, because we really are in a spot, my friends. And you're going to see from some of these examples here the trouble that we really are in. We have a whole portion of society that is completely taking us in the direction the opposite of what the founding fathers took us. We have a portion of society that wants to invite in people from a culture that is 180-degree difference than we are. And we have Americans who don't have any comprehension of the difference between our culture and these other cultures. Certainly, America is a melting pot where we have people in from all different places over the world that come here. That's what makes America great, and I certainly hope that practice continues. However, if you are out there and you appreciate being safe, if you appreciate that there isn't going to be any crimes or bad things going on, then I'm sure you could appreciate that we want to make sure that those people coming into the country love America as much as we do and want to be here. However, that's not the case, because as I've said over and over, there are international intelligence statistics which let us know how many of these coming from other countries are potentially dangerous. International estimates go anywhere, I've heard, as low as 9%, I've heard as high as 20%. So if we just use 10% as our number, and we have 1.6 billion members of Islam, 10% of 1.6 billion is 160 million. That's half of the population of the United States. Okay, so according to international statistics, there's at least 160 million potential extremists out there. So when they come into America, and let's say they decide they're going to bring in 100,000 refugees to America from these countries where there are problems, 10% of that number, we're going to say, because of what I just told you, is the number we're going to look at. That's 10,000 people. Can the United States of America afford to have 10,000 extremists come into our country? Keep in mind that these extremists coming from these other countries believe that we Americans are infidels. They believe that homosexuals should be killed. They believe that women should be subservient to the men. They believe that we should be under Sharia law. None of these things are compatible with America. Not one bit. So we really can't afford to have them in here. And yet the debate goes on, and we still have people arguing that, oh, we got to invite them over. Well, let's think for a minute. Would you let somebody into your house that was potentially dangerous? Probably not. But that seems to be the argument, and it seems to be the argument from the liberal side of things. There's a phrase you hear out there that liberalism is just a mental disease. I'm telling you, the more and more I hear about some of the decisions coming from the liberal mindset, then I start to see that there is some reality to this. Something is not right. Okay, so let me get to some of these articles. I'm going to keep on this right here. First thing, we're not going to let this guy off the hook. Okay, we're not going to let Mr. Khan off the hook here because he's conning America. Over the past week and the past few days since Khan spoke alongside his wife, Ghazala Khan, and about their son, U.S. Army Captain Humayun Khan, who was killed in Iraq in 2004. Mainstream media pundit, editors, producers, and anchors have been hammering, bashing Trump over what should have never been a matter. Crooked Hillary and her merry band of moron pundits, though, had a good one, a specific line of attack that pitted Trump against the military and supposedly showed him as a big meanie racist in the process. However, as Breitbart News reported on Monday midday, that clearly was not the case. Ghazala Khan is clearly a liberal involved with a multitude of financial, legal, and political connections to the Clintons' criminal foundation through his old law firm, the mega DC firm Hogan Lovellis. Khan's firm fraudulently prepared Hillary Clinton's taxes for years, stating that when Khan still worked there, involved in, according to his own website, Matters Wide firm back in 2004. He also represented for years the government of Saudi Arabia in the United States. Saudi Arabia, of course, is the Clinton Foundation donor, which, along with the mega bundlers of thousands and thousands of political donations to both Hillary Clinton's presidential campaigns in 2008 and 16, and plays right into the Clinton cash narrative. So, well, now we have some member of an awesome freedom fighter group, Anonymous. We have some more interesting information about Mr. Khan and his unethical connection with Crooked Hillary and her charitable money laundering foundation. Did we say that? Due to litigation concerns, no doubt a lawsuit is forthcoming. We're going to we're not going to make other comments than to use your own imagination for what this payment is. We will open up comments so that you can discuss this matter amongst yourself. Okay, so here it is, and we have money that went and paid to him. And so on. Okay, so again, point of all of this is this man is not who he claims to be. Okay, this man is a plant. This man supports Hillary. He's all the dirty business. This is what they're trying to sell the American people, and if people are buying that and believing that, then there's a problem. The problem's with the American people that are believing those lies. Again, why would an American who knows nothing about the other culture, why would they let them into this country if the potential ones they're letting in might hurt them. 90% of those aren't going to be in that group and should be able to pass into America once they go past the whatever checks they need to go through. But it's that 10% we want to stop. Okay, that is why it is necessary. Do you know that we actually do some of these immigration things? They're on the books. They just aren't being enforced. So what Trump is saying really is not that far-fetched. He's talking about things that are already in occurrence. So let's switch to Hillary. Let's take a look at her. Here's some WikiLeaks information. An email links Hillary to Bohemian Grove. Bohemian Grove, where they worship Moloch, the big owl that eats children. A new WikiLeaks hacked email directly links Hillary Clinton, Colin Powell, and Henry Kissinger to the Bohemian Grove, mentioning the notorious occult playground of the globalist elite by name. The hacked email, sent by Sidney Blumenthal to Hillary Clinton when she was Secretary of State, describes Democrats and Republicans colluding with globalists at the Bohemian Grove and working the agreed message into the National Archive. This is not the first time Clinton, Powell, or Kissinger has been linked to the Bohemian Grove. Hacked pictures of Powell partying with elites and actors at the top-secret resort were leaked by the official Guccifer in 2013. Here you go. Here's some pictures. Colin Powell right here. It says, according to the Examiner, two of the men in the photos appear to be George Kennedy from Dallas and The Naked Gun and Malcolm McDowell from A Clockwork Orange and numerous other TV shows. Okay, so you can go down, you can read about Moloch, who he is. Moloch was says nobody randomly uses Moloch in a conversation. Most people don't even know what Moloch is. However, the Bohemian Grove is performing sacrifice rituals to Moloch, the ancient god of human sacrifice since the 1800s, offering burnt human flesh according to some reports. Moloch, the ancient god of the human sacrifice worship at Bohemian Grove, given the reputation Bohemian Grove has for deciding the next president of the United States. The year before the election, see former presidents Eisenhower, Nixon, and Reagan, the Bush dynasty, as well as Bill Clinton. It should come as no surprise that Hillary has wormed her way into their top secret world. Clinton, Powell, Kissinger are far from the only elite names linked to Bohemian Grove. Queen of England has even visited and was received with an ecstatic pagan dance ceremony. And the report lists some of these other names. You'll recognize former U.S. presidents William Howard Taft, Calvin Coolidge, Herbert Hoover, Dwight Eisenhower, Richard Nixon, Gerald Ford, Ronald Reagan, George Bush Sr. and Jr., most of our President Bush administration's top officials such as Colin Powell, and also members of the exclusive men's club, California Pete Wilson, the mayors of Los Angeles, San Francisco, and other major cities, astronauts Wally Schreier and Frank Borman, former FBI CIA directors, former secretaries of state George Shultz, Henry Kissinger, international bankers, heads of big oil companies, and corporate CEOs frolic in the redwoods with some of the most famous creative people in history: Mark Twain, Ambrose Bierce, Bret Hart, Jack London, Will Rogers, Douglas Fairbanks, Charlie Chaplin, and Art Linkletter all let their hair down here. Even the great Queen Elizabeth showed up in 1983. Her Majesty was honored with an ecstatic pagan dance, complete with expensive, elaborate statue props as Egyptian pyramids and Babylonian ziggurats. Yet the Queen of England could not join the club if she applied for membership. Why? Because the club is exclusively all male. Women have not been allowed since the club's founding in 1873. All right, so there you go. There's a link there to Hillary, to Moloch. How many things do we need about Hillary before we actually understand that there's a problem here? How many? Well, we've got her emails, first of all, that had a problem. Then we've got the hacked DNC emails. We've got the Benghazi situation. We've got the Clinton Foundation. On and on. I mean, we can go on and on of Hillary and her lies. There's just more lies that occurred just this last weekend on the show when she was on. Woman only knows how to lie, yet people want to support her and her lies. People want to support her. Yesterday there's a video. You can go to my Facebook page, First Contact Radio. I've got a video up there of Hillary Clinton in which she is talking to a crowd. This is just recently. And during the course of it, she says something to the effect of, people think we're going to raise the taxes on the 1%, but that's not true. We're going to rewrite the books to make things better for the people and for the middle class. We are going to raise taxes on the middle class. And people cheered. She just told people they're going to raise taxes on them, and they cheered. How could that be? Are they not paying attention? Go watch the video. It's at my Facebook page. It'll blow your mind. People aren't paying attention. Either that or they're under some kind of strange spell. Why would you want to listen to the woman who is lying to you? Why would you want to listen to the woman who's telling you she's going to raise your taxes? Why would you want to vote for her? Why would you want to vote for the woman who wants to bring people in from other countries where the extremists in those countries are killing homosexuals and abusing women? Why would you want to bring those into your country unless, of course, you really don't care for the country very much? And that seems to be the case, that Hillary Clinton is not American, but rather anti-American, just like her boss, Obama, and they're simply working to destroy America. Here's an article over here. It is called, it's an interview that recently took place, and this is the Secretary of Department of the State, and it was an interview. Just here's a question. How are those, let's see. So what does a rebel group in Syria have to do to not receive U.S. funds any longer? What is the line they must cross? What kind of controversial incident must they take place in order to stop receiving U.S. funds? Mr. Toner said, well, first there's a lot of vetting of the Syrian moderate opposition that has already taken place, and it's not just the U.S., but it's all the members of the ISSG and, frankly, the UN. And it was established that al-Nusra as well as Daesh or ISIL were considered to be, by all members of the UN, terrorist organizations. I think these are not easy processes, and not one incident here that would not necessarily make you a terrorist group. Now, let me be very clear. We don't condone any of these activities that you just cited. Possible use of chemical weapons, possible beheading of a young child, any human rights abuses. Any of these things would give us serious cause for concern. That said, we are in a broader geopolitical or political situation in Syria, and one of the ongoing discussions that we have been having with Russia is how we clearly delineate between these known terrorist groups, Nusra and Daesh, and the moderate opposition, and how we have a clear understanding of who is there so that we can no longer get back to the place of cessation of hostilities that is credible so that we can jumpstart the political process. And he says, sounds to me like you're saying that even if these allegations of terrorism are true, there's still a chance the United States would consider supporting these groups. Is that what you're saying? He says, I'm not frankly answering any hypotheticals. We just don't know at this point. As I said, we would regard any of the facts that you mentioned or cited, and again, they are just allegations. We take them seriously and we look and investigate them. And the question says, but they're not a red line. They're not a red line to end U.S. support. Again, so for a terrorist organization, there are fundamental actions, one of which is the intention to carry out the terrorist acts, both with Syria as well as the West. Okay, so did you notice this word here, intention? Intention, this is, you could see here, U.S. State Department, press briefing August 3rd. So even if a person has done terrorist activities, as you could hear from there, that's not necessarily a reason why they wouldn't let him in the country. Because they want to know, just like with Hillary, the same thing, we have to know if they really intended to do these things. Maybe it was just an accident. Maybe they slipped and fell and accidentally chopped someone's head off. It wasn't an intention. It was the rock's fault that they tripped over. You know, something stupid like this. They really think Americans are stupid. They really, really do, but we're not. Now here's a little piece I want you to hear. This is Lou Dobbs. This is a very important statement that he just makes right here. Check this out.
Well, the hardest part is businessmen focus on results. They want to deliver jobs, they want to deliver payroll, they want to deliver product, and the method isn't really important, whereas politicians want to focus on process. They want to kiss babies and walk in parades and make everybody feel good, but the results don't matter. And that's why it's such a hard crossover. And I know it's a hard crossover for Donald Trump because he expects to perform at the highest level and deliver the best results. And at the end of the day, it's going to be whether or not America's about a meritocracy for results, or whether or not we just want process that keeps the same old plans, the same old records in action.
Politics is also about power. This is the ultimate battle for power, not just here, but in the world.
And let's be clear.
You're so right.
Whether it is Charles and David Koch, whether it is Hillary Clinton, whether it is Paul Ryan, whomever, they are working on the same side of a divide.
Right.
And that is a divide between globalists and Americans. And everybody better understand that as we move forward from this point. Ed Rollins, thank you, sir. Appreciate it. Randy Evans, thank you, sir.
All right, so you hear that? Lou Dobbs saying that Koch brothers, Paul Ryan, Hillary Clinton working on the same side of the divide. You know, see what's going on? They're not for America. They're for the globalists. Who are the globalists? Those who want to believe that the globe is the real thing. That's why there's a significance between understanding the flatness of the earth versus the globe. Okay? They want to keep you dumb, and as long as you keep believing their lies, you're going to remain dumb. If you stop believing their lies, you'll actually find that there's some resolve of things in the world, in your life. Now, lately, there's an attack upon Donald Trump, the latest one, and you could see that they are going full steam against him. They're trying to say that mentally he is not fit to hold the office because of the things he is saying. They're really getting desperate. Really getting desperate. I have a theory on why they're saying that, because what I've noticed, and you may have noticed the same thing, is there seems to be a tactic. It's a Saul Alinsky rules for radicals type tactic that you attack outward to somebody to cover up what's going on for you. So you just attack. So they say Donald Trump is mentally unfit. Donald Trump is having some sort of mental problems. We need to check his mental status. Why are they saying that? I think it's because Hillary is the one who has the mental problem, and I think they want to try to cover that up. But I'm going to show you a few things here about Hillary. Check out this video right here. Okay? See this? Look at this. People say she was just goofing around, but this isn't goofing around. This is a woman who's having some sort of mental issue right there of some sort, and then she laughs it off like, ah ha ha. She's had this before. I want you to watch this video link over and over again. Look how her eyes go. Look at, there's something going on there. That's not normal. Here's the other angle of it. Look at the look on this reporter's face here. Okay? She's looking and understanding there's something weird going on there. She's having a seizure, just having a convulsion right in front of their eyes. Let's go to another one. Let's go look at another one here. This one took place at the DNC. Okay, right after, look at this. There you go. Look at what she does. Out of nowhere, Hillary Clinton just suddenly... Okay, let's see if we can get this again here. She's walking. See that? Right there? Okay. Alright, you see that? Kind of weird, right? All of a sudden, looking like a freaking bird or something. Okay, so there's this one. And now, let's take a look at this. Here's a picture of Hillary was taken. You see what's right there on her tongue? A hole. Why does Hillary Clinton seem to have a hole in her tongue? Well, I did a Google search. What kind of medical procedure would require a hole in the tongue? And you know what comes up? Various links about cancer, throat cancer. What's one of the things people are saying about Hillary? She might have some sort of throat cancer condition. She's had numerous coughing fits from time to time, as long as 2 minutes at a crack, where she's just there coughing and coughing and coughing. The woman's got some sort of health issue. Okay? So I believe that what they're trying to do is they're trying to cover that up by throwing the blame towards Donald Trump, to say he's the one that has the problem. He's the one who has a mental issue. And I don't believe that one bit. I don't believe that one bit. He's being attacked by all sides, all of these parties, not only the Democrats, but also the liberals, the globalists. It's very easy to see what's going on. The ones getting screwed in the process are the American people, the ones who are closing their eyes. And I don't fully understand why. Again, I don't understand why anybody would want to support somebody that is supporting bringing people into the country that could possibly be extremists who want to kill gays, homosexuals, and want to abuse women. I can't understand why somebody would say that's a great idea. Let's invite these people in. And yet this is what the liberal side wants us to believe is necessary. You believe that? I mean, it's bizarre. It's hard to imagine that we're living in this world this day and we actually have people who are so blind to this. It's incredible. It's mind-boggling. So what I think we need to do is I think we need to stay the course. We need to stay the course. We need to understand this election process is going to be a knockdown, drag-out fight probably for the next 3 months. It's going to be an endurance event. And it's going to wear people down, and it's going to wear their thoughts down, and maybe that's part of the process. But there's far too much corruption coming from the left side, far too much corruption, and the American people cannot afford to have that kind of corruption in their life. If you are a Democrat, if you're a liberal and you disagree with me, you let me know why. But I'm going to guess that you have no clue on why. Because I've talked to a lot of liberals, Democrats, asking them, and they're basically the most clueless people I've ever talked to. Not knowing what's going on, not understanding the process that's in place, believing all the lies that are being told to them, and then not caring about all the corruption that is occurring. That's the big part. They're not caring about the corruption. As if they're turning a blind eye. So that's okay, as long as our candidate wins. If your candidate wins, you're going to be screwed, blued, and tattooed. And not in a good way. Not in a good way. So, waking up is very important. I could show you more examples, but you get the point. I'm sure you'll see them all day when you watch the news or the media outlets. And remember, as you're watching these media outlets, as I showed you in the article last show, Fox News is one of the big contributors for Hillary Clinton for the last 2 decades. Don't expect that they're going to tell you the truth. And I know people go there saying, well, they're going to tell you the truth because they're a conservative network. Fox News has been donating to Hillary. They're one of her top donors. They're not going to tell you the truth because they're in the tank for Hillary. Why would you donate to that campaign? Unless, of course, you wanted to have some influence, some favors from that, vice versa, you know? So, we got problems. We got problems. And the only way that we as Americans are going to get past these problems is if we first acknowledge that they're there. So if you're a liberal out there and you're not seeing this, please do yourself a favor and take a good look at what's going on. Don't destroy your life by bringing somebody in that wants to kill you and destroy and hurt Americans. Don't do that to the rest of the country. If you're a liberal, if you're a Democrat, let me ask you, do you have kids? Then think about your kids' future and quit being so selfish. Quit thinking about only what you want. Quit being selfish because you're putting your kids' future at stake. And if you really do love your kids, you better be doing that. And if you can't do that, then I'm going to say you really don't love your family the way that you say you do. Because why would anyone hurt or do something that would potentially hurt their kids down the road? Okay? You've had good lives. You've lived long lives. Make sure that we have a good place for our kids. Let's not bring them up in a world where they have to fight against extremists in the street, where they have to deal with all of this nonsense. I'm telling you, if Hillary gets in, there's going to be a lot of really sorry, sad Democrats and liberals because they will find out that they have been betrayed. But by then it will be too late. By then it will be too late. Donald Trump may not be the best in every single category. He may be a bit crude in some of the things he says. But one, he's a businessman and our country is a corporation. The corporation of the United States needs to be run as a business to get ourselves on track. And two, Donald Trump is learning as he goes, which is a great thing to see. He's not remaining the same. He's learning. We know what we have with Hillary. She's been in office how many years? 20, 30, 40 years? We have groups of people alive that are part of the voting bloc these days that weren't alive when Bill Clinton was in office. So they don't know about all the scandals. And if they're not going to go look at them, then they're going to be clueless. Very important. I keep talking about it because it's so important, my friends. We're really at that point in time. America's either going to continue to go up and be a great country, or we're going to crash. This is it. This is it. We're going to find out over the next 3 months. In 3 months, whether this experiment called America lives or dies. That's exactly what we're going to find out. If Hillary gets in office, America will then be dead. Because she's not for America. Not one bit. Have you seen the flags that fall when she's around? Little omens that she's not the right person. Then you see all of these other things taking place with her, the illness and so on. It's the party of Satan, I'm telling you. The party of Satan. All right. Switching gears here, something we can do to help ourselves dig in to understand a bit more of who we are. Here's a third eye mirror meditation. These are pretty cool to do. How many faces will you see? In this mirror meditation, you will see faces from previous lives, faces from the collective, aliens, fairies, people of other races and other times. You may even see demonic images, but do not be scared because they cannot harm you. Before you begin any meditation, be sure to protect yourself and your home beforehand. Here's a little link of how you do that. Basically, just surround yourself with light. Call in your highest good. And just imagine yourself protected and blessed. Once you protected and blessed yourself, place a mirror in front of you, light a candle, turn off the lights. Focus on the spot between your eyes where your third eye would be. Due to this dimness in the room, you'll find your eyes going in and out of focus, and this is perfectly normal and expected. Try to avoid excessive blinking because it is in this state faces will appear. Your third eye will begin to open and reveal many faces. Many times you will see various genders, ethnicities, races, and sometimes demon-looking entities. But do not be afraid. These nefarious entities cannot harm you and may be a shadow side self of you, or they may be simply testing your spirituality. If you sense any negative energy from these energies, you can always ask them to leave and restart your process, your protection techniques as you did before the meditation. Okay? In my own experience doing a mirror meditation, I've seen myself as many different ethnicities and races as well as both genders. I have also seen a demonic-looking entity with glowing red eyes and fang-like teeth, but I remained calm and told it I was not welcoming it was not welcome during my meditation, asked it to leave. Meditation is not for the faint of heart. If you think you are ready to try it, please be sure to follow recommendations on what to do before you meditate. It is quite fascinating to see the many sides of yourself as ultimately as you are a spiritual being having a human experience, while incarnating many times in various ethnicities and races and different genders. Through this meditation, they will be shown to you. So, I've done the mirror meditations. They're really interesting to do. Really interesting to do. You simply, you do your protections, you light a candle, you have the lights out, you can go into the bathroom, you just look in the mirror, and as you're looking, you will actually start to see, once your eyes kind of focus in, you just keep them open, you'll kind of zone out into this place where you start seeing your face change. And that's kind of weird when you start seeing it change, and you'll see it change to various different looks from who you are. You'll see yourself change from one gender to the next, as these are all different aspects of your personality. And yes, there are other entities and faces and things you may see that might be a little bit scary looking, but again, you just send them away. If you don't like them, nothing's going to harm you. Just stay protected. Be an observer. Observe what's going on. Observe what's going on under the protections that you put around yourself. All right, here's a message today from the Pleiadian High Council. Let's check it out.
Your highest good, the Pleiadian High Council of Seven, channeled by Daniel Scranton. We are the Pleiadian High Council of 7, and we are pleased to offer you our words of wisdom. There needs to be absolutely no second guessing involved when you are moving towards something that serves your highest good. You need not wonder whether you are moving in the right direction or taking the right steps, because everything is serving your highest good. It is your perception of reality that creates the idea of good or bad, that creates the concept of right and the concept of wrong. But there is none of that from the highest perspective, and therefore, none of you need saving, and all of you are doing quite well. It is only when you judge something that you create the dichotomy that then necessitates a certain outcome. Begin to understand that your place here is one of continued exploration and experimentation, and that you are not graduating because you have all the right answers now. You are simply moving towards that which gives you the opportunity for greater expansion through new experience. So you are not being tested, and you never have been. You are in fact deciding what experiences to give yourselves next, and all of those experiences are going to serve your highest good. As you experience anything, different aspects of who you are get activated. Those aspects are then either accepted or rejected into the whole of who you are. The more times you reject an aspect of yourself, the more times you will need to create a circumstance to get you in touch with that aspect. The sooner you are willing to engage with and embrace every aspect of who you are, the sooner you can move on to have more experiences. And the reason for that is simple. You and your expansion is what this is all about. Expansion occurs as a result of experience, and therefore all experience could be considered good, if we were going to judge. In order to know yourselves most completely, you need to have as many experiences as possible. And that is why no one cares what you create. All that anyone cares about in the higher realms is that you continue to create. And what is beautiful about your expansion is that the more of you that you include in the creation process, the more consciously you do it. We are the Pleiadian High Council of 7, and we are very fond of all of you.
All right, very nice message. Yes, change, expansion, very important. We are going through all of that right now. So that's why it's important that we, expand the opportunities we have to look at things in a new perspective. Really, that's all up to us, okay? We've been going around in a loop. We've been going around in a circle. We could do the same old things we've been doing, but we could see that it's not working, or we could, change direction, get on track with who we are. And that's basically it. We're a country that has forgotten who we are. We're a country who's forgotten who we are. Therefore, we're really lost, like children, lost children. But we don't have to be lost, because the solution, the answer, everything we need is inside. We're just listening to the wrong voices, because those voices have taken control of the mainstream networks from the politicians. So whatever this archonic influence is, it's going out there and people are buying into it. I don't understand why, but people are buying into it. Even people that know that the system is corrupt and they're lying to you are still buying into the lies that are being told. It's as if the trance is so strong that people can't break out of it. And they break out of it, and then they want to go right back and believe the lies. We have to expand ourselves past that, my friends. We've had so many years of our lives where we've allowed ourselves to accept the lies. The little lies have become the big lies. And then the big lies have become bigger. And here we are, because we've got lies, lies, and more lies, and now we're trying to find the truths. But we've confused ourselves, my friends, and we need to unconfuse ourselves. And there's only one way. We look to God. We look to the Spirit that flows through us. We allow ourselves to have that guiding force help us to see where and what we need to be doing. So here's our meditation for today. Close your eyes. Take a deep breath. And exhale. Take another deep breath. And exhale again. And another breath. And exhale. Now let's imagine ourselves walking along the path of life. And as we do so, we see lots of people walking the path, but we see people confused. We see a lot of uncertainty taking place around us as America goes through the changes, as the world goes through its changes. We feel as if there is something significant going on, but we don't understand. So we simply see people walking away from even trying. And as we look closer, we see that behind the scenes there is some dark manipulative energy that has grabbed the hold of people's minds. Some are strong enough to overcome this and are able to see past the lies. Others, not so much, and find themselves trapped. Trapped but unaware that they are trapped, and simply left to walk around confused. So at this moment we imagine, as we see all of these people, that we send light and love to each every one of them. That way this light goes in and brings information, like the hermit shining the light bright, teaching them the lessons of patience and timing as they unlock their true potential. And as we send this light and love, we start to see those who are confused become more certain. The confusion clears away. And as confusion clears away and people become more certain, better decisions are made. And as better decisions are made, better results occur. And so as we go into the world this day, we pray, Heavenly Father, Heavenly Mother, thank you for the blessings that you have given to us this day. Thank you for the blessings of strength of our conviction that might guide us towards the truth. Thank you for the love that shines through us that we might share this with others. And thank you for blessing each and every one of us with the opportunity to rise to our highest potential. Let the subconscious mind continue on the journey of sending out light and love to all that we see and meet. And let's bring the conscious mind back to the present moment on the count of 3. 3 coming back to the present moment filled with confidence. 2 coming back to the present moment filled with faith. And 1 coming back to the present moment happy, healthy, and whole. Happy, healthy, and whole. Take another deep breath. Exhale. And open your eyes. That's it, my friends. That's the show for today. Thank you so much for being here. Please go back, take a look at these links from today. Go back to the show from the other day. Look at those links there. We do have a real situation here in America that needs everybody's attention. The next 3 months are going to be very significant to what happens to us. America's either going to continue to grow as a nation, and this experiment will continue on, or we're going to completely collapse and move towards socialism and on into communism. I don't think people understand really what that's about. I don't think the younger generation understands any of that at all. So before they run into that trap and we lead into that trap, we need to fix things, my friends. We need to fix things. And maybe the younger generation isn't going to quite get there, so maybe we have to look out for them to save them from themselves and their own stupidity. If that's the case, then we need to do that. We need to stand up. We need to fix the problems, and all the problems solving starts when we fix ourselves first. Then we look into the world to see truly what's going on. And when we understand the difference between the truth and the lies that is put out into the world, we understand how we can make this a better place, how we can make better decisions and do better things. It's not as difficult as it sounds. We just need to be willing to do that. We need to be willing to not be afraid and to not be put in the position where we are having to be threatened by those who are trying to gain power. This is a struggle, my friends. It's a struggle between good and evil, between light and dark. Which path are you going to choose? Now is the time to decide, my friends. Now is the time. That's it. I'll be back with more news and information. Until then, have yourselves an awesome day. I love you. Keep loving each other, and I'll talk to you soon. Peace. I'm out of here.